UFC 325 results. Let me get myself in place, boys. Let me get me Snickers. Let me get my glass bottle Coke. That might represent that we've won some money this week, you know what I mean? Let's have a little celebration. We love winning. We love winning. I'm so tired because staying up for the UFC and doing open mats at 11 a.m. is just too much for me. But we're happy this week. We are so happy. UFC Australia paid off. The stars aligned. And when I got my first Deliveroo for the UFC, I looked up and it was a full moon. And I knew right then. I knew it. Oh. We got 7 out of 10 fights right. 4 out of 5 on the main card. There was 4 decisions out of the 10 fights. There was 3 rear naked chokes. There was 2 TKOs from mount and back mount. And there was a knockout. Oh, hope your bets went well. Obviously yours didn't greener because mine went well. Oh, I can't really eat a Snickers. It'll piss everyone off. But glass bottle Coke again. Let me have a little bit. Oh, we loved that card. I'm going to admit to you, I only managed to stay up until the co-main event. I fell asleep before Lopez and Volkanovski. But that's because all my bets had come in by then. Let's go. But, right. I tell you what, we'll do the bets quickly first today. You know what I mean? Of the 4 underdogs that could, only 3 of them. Only 1 came in, the Khan Offler. I wish I'd put big money on him. Because I really did feel like I knew no matter what, that was coming in. But yeah, Oban Elliott, Torres Finner, Junior Taffa. None of them came in. The underdog Aussies. If you'd have bet on the Aussies, the only 3 people to let you down, and I wrote these down as the underdog Aussies, is Junior Taffa, Tai Tuivasa, and Dan Hooker. Almost expected to let you down. Like the top mid guys. So if you bet on the Aussies and you left them out, you'd have had a nice, 6 Aussies winning? Very good. Very, very good. But above all, this is about following, and we're turning £1 to $500,000 in 20 flips. Yeah? Last week, we failed at flipping the pound to £2. Yeah? This week, we were financing ourselves. We were taking our hard-earned cash, the £2, and flipping it to £4 this week. And I gave you 5 fighters as locks, but they all came in. And I said you could pick any 3 of these if you want to lower it. But we got a 4.57 accumulator of Texera, Cam Roston, Quinlan Salkield, Benoit Saint-Denis, and Volkanovski. 4.57. And I'm backing this with my own money. So mine came in. We turned that £2 into £9. Compound it back. We're going to save that £5. We've got the £4 ready for next week to turn it into £8. Obviously, you can set these standards for yourself. Because I bet £10 on that 4.5 instead of the 2. So I got 45 back. That was nice. We are so up, boys. I could jump up in the compounds, but I'm just imagining that we're flipping each week. So £2 of that goes, £9 goes back to it. It's all flowing back in. But that's the second week now. We got 10 weeks of UFC. We're going to turn £1 into £512, just flipping it over and over again. Right now, that pound is £9. No, £8. Nice. We're doing it. We are so doing it, boys. I just feel like I deserve glass bottle Coke over and over again. Well, you knew the predictions, and the predictions went pretty much as they were expected. The 3 fights that failed on were Rafael Fiziev and Mauricio Ruffa, which was a bit of a flip 'em and hit 'em card match, and Rafael Fiziev, in my opinion, was winning until he lost. It just in my opinion. It was a very good fight, though. No shame in losing, and if you were to be serious about putting it on a bet, then I would have told you to stay away, and he was not in any of my bets, Fiziev or Ruffa. It was a stay away from that fight, but my prediction was wrong on that one. The Jacob Malkoun and Torres Finner, I complained that this would be an absolute crap fight, and it was a crap fight, but Torres Finney was crap on the losing end. Crap fight. Don't think about it. Forget about it. Both useless. Get out of here. You know what I mean? This fight broke my heart. It's the third one. It's the only other one I got wrong. He was an underdog, so he's expected to lose, but he was winning the fight. And this is Jonathan Mikalev, the Australian, versus Orban Elliott. And he had Cam Atakuru in his corner, and I could hear Cam shouting stuff, so that's pretty cool from Subzone. This fight was crazy. Crazy fight to watch, wicked fight to watch. You could probably learn some things from this fight. Just mad that Orban Elliott was seen as the grappler and Mikalev was seen as the striker, and it was completely the other way around. Orban Elliott was just chinning him up until all of a sudden in the second round he's just got his back taken. And I will be fair to him, he did the right things at trying to find the hand when he's being choked. But Mikalev tucked it nice and tight behind the back. Orban just went, I'm going out like Holly Holm. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Just kept smacking away until he went sleep. I was pissed off that he lost because I had him in my bets, had him in other bets. And would have been nice. I would have cashed out of bets because I wouldn't have felt comfortable with Torres Finney in the end. And it was brutal, man. But I respected losing my money on him for the fact that he went sleep. You know what I mean? He didn't tap. He just thrown punches till he knew he was going to sleep. Fair play to him. It was cool to see the beef in the fight. They both had beef. So it was very strange that Mikalev came out and was like tentative, didn't throw punches. Didn't look like he threw punches ever before for a few seconds. It was very strange. Orban pieced him up and got choked out. It is what it is. That's the game. But they're the 3 fights that I got wrong. Whoa. Let's go to the original prelim fight then. We got Khan Offler and Yiza. Decision fight. Could have gone to either one. From what I was watching, because I think I joined this in from second round, didn't look like Khan Offler would win. But Australian, judges gave it. Yiza was winning in the final with the third round as well. So it was kind of strange. But Australian getting the job done. Underdog getting the job done. Money in the bank. Let's fucking go. Top cunt, mate. Next fight. Orban Elliott. We've already discussed that. Jacob Malkoun was the next fight with Torres Finner. Crap. Forget about them. Just because they're massive does not mean they can fight. Absolutely, utterly crap. Oh, but yeah, we'll move on from that. Straight up to Cam Roston and Cody Brundage. This was a good fight. Tall, lanky guy. Cody Brundage fighting as best he can for the first half, for the first round, before he just got absolutely TKO'd from back mount in the second round. Great fight to watch if you're a longer fighter. If you've got like long limbs and you're taller than people and you want to know how to pop them with strikes when they're a semi-good mid fighter, in Cody Brundage. Cody Brundage is the ultimate mid fighter. Like I said, if you beat him, you get to stay. If you lose, you're out of here. You're so done. You're so out of the UFC. So Cam Roston needed that. I had that in a tasty little knockout bet. With KO and submission bet with Quinlan Salkeld, which is the next fight. Quinlan Salkeld versus Jamie Malarkey. Obvious massive betting discrepancy there. I told you to bet on him to finish for 1.20, double chance, because you didn't know if it would be a strike or a submission. Because the bookies were really overselling good odds for Quinlan Salkeld to knock him out in the first or second. And it just made me proper sus. Made me proper sus that it'd be a submission. Not that the bookies are ringing him, but he is Australian, so you never know. Oh, look, the bling's out. Just absolute winners. Winners. We're just winning this week. All week long, we win. Right, let's go. Quinlan Salkeld, Jamie Malarkey. Jamie Malarkey put up a good fight. He's got technique, just not like the genetics to be able to have a scrap. But he looks like he's trained forever, but hasn't got the bloodline for fighting, which is crazy because he's Australian. But yeah, he just got eventually. I think did he get choked out? Let me have a look a sec. Round 1 rear naked choke. Yeah, this fight's great to watch for technique. Quinlan does an excellent shot in for a takedown. We always love to see great shots for takedowns. It's a bit back and forth. And then what I liked with his rear naked choke, because often people fail in MMA by going for both hooks in on the rear naked choke. Now, if you go for both hooks in on a rear naked choke in an MMA fight, and what I mean by both hooks in is your legs, whilst you're wrapped around their body, they're hooked. They're both hooked inside the legs, wrapped and holding them. Doing this for MMA, especially with a back take, comes at a very high risk because you're not truly controlling their hips. You've got nothing like behind their coccyx bone. Like your thigh, you're better off having one hook and almost triangle into one hip and keeping your thigh behind their coccyx bone, or your hip. You know what I mean? Depends if you learnt prison jiu-jitsu or not. You use your hip if you're a prison jiu-jitsu guy. Use your thigh if you think jiu-jitsu's gay. But that is what Quinlan Salkeld did. He locked in, kept one hook, kept his thigh trapped into him, held a rear naked choke, and rather than making the rear naked choke so clean and focusing too much on this, he got it nice and tight, and he hipped in, and you can see Jamie Malarkey's spine and the hips having to push in, and it just makes the rear naked choke more submission grappling than clean jiu-jitsu technique. Makes it, oh, this is trapped, strong man. Oh, sorry. I'm burping up bubbles from the glass bottle Coke. Let's have a little bit more. You know what I mean? Top winners. Lads, there we go. And Ladette's too. Oh, we are so back. So yeah, that's a great fight to watch for one round of just quick bap, 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 bap. It's literally like watching sparring between the super skilled, sick 20-year-old in the gym versus the trained his whole life, but just too old now, maybe at like 39, and he's just losing. That's what Quinlan Salkeld and Jamie Malarkey was like. Good watch. Great to learn from. That started off the main card. Got the first win. We got our 1.20. Let's go. On to the next fight. Won this one again. Teixeira with a 1.33. Talison Teixeira versus Tai Tuivasa. Tai Tuivasa is now the heavyweight Tony Ferguson. Originally, everyone loved him off shoeies, knocking people out, and now he's got like six losses. back-to-back. 6 losses back-to-back. No, how do you recover from this? How do you recover from 6 losses? You don't. As I said, he's been posting a lot about the past. I think he's finished. 2 decision losses. It's better than being finished in the other 4 before that. But he went out on his shield. May as well just retire like that. 3rd round, he tried his best to knock the guy out. But it's just, that's what happens. You're a heavyweight and you took time off to enjoy getting fat and fucking drinking beer. Are you thick, you stupid, fat cunt? Sorry if you're listening somewhere. Apologies to any office staff who had to hear that. Oops. But it's just, no. You're being paid to fight. You know, I took time off to heal, but I got real fat and I drank a lot of beer. That is why I didn't pick him to win the fight. I thought he could win by Australian aura. He tried his best with Australian aura in the 3rd round. Guy's got no grappling, got took down straight away in the 1st round. Teixeira did that because he got knocked out by Derek Lewis in his last fight. So obviously he's learned, take these fatties down and they can't really knock you out with any of their punches in the 2nd or 3rd round. Blobfest went to another decision. I stole MMA guru there. Just the blobs. It is a fun watch, especially like by the end and the 3rd round and that. But it's also dead. Don't watch this fight to get better at fighting. You will lose XP in fighting by watching this fight. You learn nothing from these other than the fact that they're so crap and fat. You should never be this out of shape. And yeah, just go to the gym more. Go to the gym more. Never think, right, I'm going to take 2 years off to drink beer and get fat. No, don't do it. Learn from their mistakes. Tuivasa could have finished him in the 3rd round, but because he got so fat and not focused on being an athlete, he just couldn't even throw bombs to finish. He'd throw a few, be absolute shattered. Fight finished. Teixeira got the decision. We got the win. We got the win in a lock bet. I told you it was a lock. Tuivasa's crap. Fiziev. We went over Fiziev and Ruffer. That's the next fight. Fiziev. These two, it depends on the betting site of who was the underdog. That's how close this fight was. And even on betting sites I was using, they were flipping on who the underdogs were. So I think whoever was gambling just chose the underdogs for this fight. And it was luck of the draw. Fiziev was piecing him up, hitting him hard. Ruffy was doing good sniper shit. Fiziev looks like he was hitting harder, but I actually think Ruffy's was hurting way more. So Fiziev just might have that bang that hits a punch machine, and everyone turns around like, oh my god, what was that? And it was only like 900. And Ruffy like makes no sound when he hits the punch machine, and it must get up to like 960. He hits hard, man. And you know what? I've lost back-to-back bets on Mauricio Huffer, because when he fought Benoit Saint Denis, I lost money on him too. And I think that's what made me turn against him this one, because I was pure loving him off. I had like too much of a passion for him. Like, yo, this guy's striking's above the rest. And I think he broke my heart in that last fight. Because what did I have? I had something like 100 quid, and it should have brought 900 quid in. And I was sat there watching it. And I'm with me dear, I'm with me babe, you know what I mean? I got babe with me. And I'm thinking, I'm gassed, I'm watching, I'm like, this guy's obviously going to win. He's going to spark Benoit Saint Denis out. And obviously, you know how that went. That went terribly. That went so bad, it upset the wife. It upset the wife. I could tell in her eyes, she just looked at me and thought, I'm getting depression dick game tonight. He's a better man when he wins his bets. He's full of life. Really? I'm just full of glass bottle Coke. Oh. And that's what made me fail on picking Ruffy this week. Also, the strange haircut and the weird mange that he's got just made me think, ugh, man, like, something's going off with... Are you going off? Backed Fiziev because Justin Gaethje put up scraps and their 2 fights looked average. Could have gone either way if Fiziev had landed the hard punch. If one of his punches that were landing hard had done some extra damage, he'd have finished. But, yep. He got KO'd. But he was doing... Oh, the funniest thing is when after Fiziev got banged, he's running all over the place, turning round, spinning round. Ruffy's still hitting him. He falls to the floor, starts doing all his alhamdulillahs and alhamdulillahs, and he's swinging his head on the floor. He's praying on the floor, swinging his head, getting it, bobbling it out of the way of shots. That is. It was fucking crazy to watch, like watching a street fight. Oh, it was hilarious. Great, entertaining fight. What round was it? Let me see what round he knocked him out. Round 2. Yes. Yeah, because I think Fiziev pieced him up in the first round. But it seems online a few people were thinking that it was pretty close. But I thought Fiziev battered him. Excellent fight to watch as a striker. It's pretty cool. Cool striking match. I was a lot more shocked at how good a match that was, because I really wanted Dan Hooker to verse Rufer. And even though Dan Hooker is who we're going to talk about next, I think Dan Hooker and Mauricio Huffy, or however you say it. Oh, I've got rich glass bottle Coke burps. Oh, even the hiccups have begun. I'm too rich this week. Yeah, Mauricio Huffy and Dan Hooker. That should be a fight that still happens next. And next, we go to Dan Hooker and Benoit Saint-Denis. What did I tell you? Dan Hooker is so dumb. Dan Hooker cannot grapple. Just enjoys the smash. Only enjoys the smash game. Only put him against strikers from now on. It's boring. No one wants to see this shit anymore. Why? No one wants to see just someone get dominated over and over and over again in the grappling. It's so annoying that he's been in the UFC that long and they let people off for having such terrible grappling like this. Someone should be walking up to him and going, bro, why are you embarrassing yourself like this? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? In the greatest grappling division, what are you playing at? You make jokes that you're not going to touch the title. Of course you're not going to touch the title. You don't touch your wrestling mat. Embarrassing. Because at first I thought, oh my God, Dan Hooker, he's piecing him up. Dan Hooker's coming in with the aura. And I would like him to win with the aura. And he was piecing Benoit Saint-Denis up. So much so. And the Benoit Saint-Denis looked so crap in the striking that I look and I thought he either had a really hard weight cut, jet lag because it's Australia, you know what I mean? It's hot as well, so it's hard to do them weight cuts if you're not used to the heat of where you've shown up, because you're just dehydrated and you need water, and that can make throwing punches so hard if you're better at grappling than you are at punching after being that tired. Or he's had staph or a sickness or something. Benoit Saint-Denis must have been sick because he was crap anytime the fight was stood up. But come to the grappling, wicked. I'll also say something must have been wrong because he's throwing elbows from mounted triangle almost, and they are doing nothing. Nothing. The amount of elbows he throws, they're hitting Dan Hooker's face, but you're thinking, how are you not knocking him out or finishing him? So he definitely had some sickness, jet lag, bust rib, injury, who knows, but something was making him a bit depleted. But he ended up ragdolling. Was it the second round or the first round? It was the second round. Yeah, because it was kind of like a cool fight. It's a cool fight to watch. It is definitely a cool fight to watch. And you can certainly learn from BSD about how to fight someone who's beating you up with strikes when you haven't got any striking. Like, how do you manage to take them down? How do you manage to keep them down? How do you manage to escape the fact that strikers always have a good guillotine? Because they get taught a guillotine by other people who are semi-good at striking and learn how to defend takedowns and guillotine. That's what strikers do. Defend, put on a nasty guillotine, make the person have to pull their head away. Because that's what Benoit Saint-Denis had to do. That's what Arman Tsarukyan have to do. You have to spin. You have to pull your head away from them to save yourself from the guillotine. Wicked. As a striker, that's what you should do. Pull them for guillotine. They pull their own head back. Bam, 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 bam. Spark them. But Dan Hooker's just crap. Just crap. He went for guillotines again. Nothing really holds. It looks super tight, don't get me wrong. But then he just stands in weird position. And eventually, let me remember, I'm pretty sure something pissed me off in that fight. And what pissed me off is Dan Hooker, yeah, that's it. I think he starts going in to like grapple, stood up with underhooks or something. But he's just stood up so straight, like a classic striker. No actual wrestling base or trying to land on his knees. Just if he falls to his arse and back. Like it's sparring and you're expected to just be allowed to stand straight back up. That level of falling over is an embarrassment for how long he's been in the UFC. Honestly, I'd throw him out. But it'd be great to see him in striking matches. So just keep him for the strikers. Mid as fuck. Dumb as fuck. But I love the fact that he's just on this video tour with his daughter. He's still just a bloke, enjoying fighting, making money, raising his daughter. We love him. We love him for that, but he's annoying as fuck when it comes to grappling. Never go to a seminar of his. Like, what is he going to teach you? Jesus Christ. And the reason, I know some of you think I'm too harsh on Dan Hooker, and I say the same thing to all of you. Okay, then tell me someone he beat. You love Dan Hooker so much? Name someone he's beat. Tell me about a knockout. Oh, you can't? Oh, just wars. Just wars that he's lost. That's all you can remember. The dude lost to Chandler. Of course he was going to lose to BSD. Bang. Another lock. Bet. Down. Now, this is where I told people to pull out. And if you wanted to pull out, I think it got something like 3.8. Maybe a bit like maybe 3.5 or something. Around the 3. Texera, Cam Roston, Sourkilled, BSD. I said if you wanted to lock your bet here, because the Volk match is a bit of hit and miss, but I locked in on Volk. We locked in on Volk at a 1.62. And that was the next fight, Volk and Lopez. Now, I can't tell you much about this because I fell asleep. And I'm glad I did, because it was exactly how I was expected to go by the highlights. Volkanovski wanting to take less damage and just win by decision. By tumping him up a bit, throwing in some grappling. And not a fight to watch again by the looks of it. Just literally watch the quick highlights. There you go. You get everything. Lopez did worse. The weirdly embarrassing thing that Lopez did is hold his hand up at the end like he'd won. He held his hand up at the end like he'd won and then was shocked. 2 judges went 49-46 and he's like, huh. And the third judge went 50-45. Huh. And he's like looking around for everyone like, whoa, what's going on? And everyone's like, bro, that's exactly how we all scored it. Complete ruin of Diego Lopez. No matter what now. Even if he ever becomes champ, he'll never be classed as better than Volk in the GOAT status. He would have to go up a weight class and win a belt to ever be classed as a featherweight GOAT, even for the future now. Shouldn't have done this. Diego's Lopez manager shouldn't have accepted this. Maybe you get more money for the championship fight. This wasn't a smart fight in the long run. Very stupid, very silly. Volk tumped him up. And the fight finished, ended in donkey guard. Donkey guard. Now, if you don't know that, it's essentially Imagine someone is in revert mount, but they're facing the opposite way. Yeah, they're facing away from you. Your legs lift up. I'm imagining you're the bottom person on bottom. You're the person on bottom, and you wrap your legs around their body. So your knees are almost at your chest, and you're wrapping around their body. It kind of looks like you're both eating each other's ass. That is what this position looks like. That's why it's called donkey guard. You look like a donkey. Now, it's also awful for MMA because it just makes you think, oh, fucking hell, man, let him elbow him in the balls. Because what are you doing? You're literally upside down, vault down, looking at Diego's arse and having to hold up as a cage and be like, I'm going to win this fight, everyone. I'm going to win this fight, everyone. He's looking down like, bro, I've done too much gay jiu-jitsu with Craig Jones now, but this is pretty damn gay. Stop this. This ain't how a fight should end. Stop! Whacks him. And he's trying to hit leg locks and that from the bottom. And you just think, oh man, this is such a bad look for Diego Lopez. Such a bad look. Volkanovski just sitting on Lopez's mustache face. That picture will be mocked for gayness forever. There'll be all sorts of stills and memes of that. Absolutely hilarious. Oh, great night. Great night of fights. The stars did align. Fucking oi, mate. Top Gun. Don't no one complain about that. Remember, this was the UFC Australia card for anyone listening in on this. We're allowed to use them words because to the Australians, fucking and can't are as useful in their language as Alhamdulillah to the Muslims. Yeah? So we allow them. We have the UFC card. We'll try not use the fucking cants next week. But hopefully there's an Australian there or something. Next week, we turn £4 into £8. Now don't forget though, we got £9. So if you wanted to flip it to 18, you do you. You're just making the flips come even quicker. But I've got to stick to some structure. You know what I mean? Because if the £4 this week fails, then the week afterwards, I use the £5 extra that we still have from winning for another 4 to flip. Because I don't believe at all that I'm going to get 2 back-to-back lock picks on a UFC card wrong. Not at 2.0. Not when I'm aiming for 2.0. Obviously, there was a big one. There was a 4.5 here this week. But it could have been a 2.0 bet if you only did 3 of the fighters. We flipped. No week will happen where we have 2 weeks of back-to-back failures. It's not happening at 2.0. It's not happening. It never happens. So we're going to believe in the flip. We're flipping. We took £1 and we didn't make it to £2. But that's loan money. So we financed the £2 and we took it to £4. No, we didn't. We took it to 9. But we're pretending we took it to 4. Yeah? So we're so up this week, boys. If you put a tenner on the lock last week, yes, you may have failed. But if you'd have put a tenner on it this week, you would now have £45 on the lock. So whilst you'd have lost 10 a week last week, we would be 25 up. We would be 25 up. You know what I mean? If you're just someone who wants to put £10 on the locks to try and make it 20 quid, amazing. We're up 25 quid after 2 weeks. We're up 25 quid after 2 weeks. If you're a £10 guy. If you're an £100 guy, whoa, we are up. If you're a £1,000 guy, we are so up right now. You know what I mean? Oh. I had a 9-fold where I changed Jacob Malkoun. I changed my bet from Torres Fini to Jacob Malkoun. And the only other fighter that didn't come in was Fiziev. It was somewhere between £1 and £5, but it would have got me like $2.5 grand. So, whew, that would have been nice. That would have been nice. Very nice picks this week. 7 out of 10. Overall, we count the last week's fights. There's 7, 6, 13. 20 out of... No, not 20. 7 and 6 is 13. So I've had 13 fights right out of 21. But if we count the 2 fights that got cancelled very last second, which were heavily in the odds of the persons I've picked, then it would be 15 out of 23. That's a good odds. I told you, I'd always say across the year, I feel like I get somewhere between 60 and 80% of fights right. And we are going to use that to flip a pound to $500,000. One last thing, so that you can learn some grappling, because I could hear Cam from Subzone shouting this to Oban, and he's telling him, and everyone needs to know this, yeah? Someone's got body locks on you during a fight. The reason you see smart people run over to the cage head first, and it looks like, why are you leaning your head so far forward? The person could drop down, take your legs. You need to run into the cage and lean into the cage. Yeah? So if your feet are at 6 o'clock, you're going to lean your body, upper body, into the cage 11 o'clock. That's if you're looking on me at sideways angle. Yeah? Feet 6 o'clock, you leaning into the fence. Lean your head on the fence or the little padded barrier. Lean your head into the padded barrier and just start fighting hands. Yeah? If them hands drop, you've got twist motion and everything and wrestling base to stand out with. But above all, you need that. You can't just be standing up and fighting hands. You're not like keeping enough pressure on your hips to stop them from moving. Yeah? So you need to lean in, head on, hips, using your hips to guide where you want their wrists. Use your hands to break their hands. Same way Cam was shouting to Oban. That's how you break your hands and turn for the underhooks. Yeah? Run to a cage, run to a wall. Same thing happens at jiu-jitsu, MMA training, the streets, you know what I mean? Someone wraps their arms around you, you better run over to a wall and lean, push yourself into that wall. That wall is now the floor. It's the same thing. The wall and the floor are the same thing. They can be used to strip grips away. Strip grips away. Lean your weight into it. Strip grips away. Be ready to rotate hips, knees and feet to defend any extra takedowns coming, but hopefully holding on to a grip so that you can catch an underhook or push the person away to that direction. That is a little bit of grappling knowledge for you. Yeah, there we go. 10 fights done. We are back next week. What's next week's? There's a UFC fight night. So there'll be a predictions one this week. We are so going. We are so up, boys. We are so up. This week is a great week. As I said, there was 4 decisions this card. There was 3 KOs, with 2 of them being KOs from mount and back mount. There was 3 rear naked chokes for the grapplers. There you go. Great night of fights if you want to watch. Otherwise, I'll see you in the week, fucking cunts.